All right. Welcome to day 3 of our 31 days investment education on your channel, InvestBlade TV with Kenny. My name is Dr. Kehinde Odeni, and I'll be helping you out on things that have to do with investing. On today's episode 3, I want to look at the different types of investments that we have. The habit, you remember, is investing. But when you have invested, what you have there is called an investment. All right. And there are different kinds of investment vehicle. And I'm going to take it one after the other. One of the more popular ones is to invest in stocks. And stocks just has to do with the fraction of a company that you have purchased. For example, you really can buy Nike as a company. For you to buy the entire company, you may need billions and billions of naira or dollars, depending on what you spend. But you can actually own a fraction of it, and that fraction is what is called a share. And then you could also call it stocks. When you have more than one share, you have stocks in that company. And that's beautiful. When you do that, two things happen. Number one, the company is obligated to give you a quarterly report on how well they're doing. And this is one of the pleasures of investing. When you get the quarterly report from a company that you've invested in, you begin to hear language that you've not heard before. You begin to hear things like their cost of goods sold. You begin to hear, let's talk about cash flow. I know people with accounting background would have heard of cash flow. They're going to tell you their prospects. They tell about EBITDA, that's the earning before interest and tax, depreciation of assets, and amortization, beg your pardon. So these things begin to tell you what's possible, right? And you begin to hear about how they plan. And if you're somebody that listens to earnings call like I do, you have the opportunity to really ask a question. So that's one of the beauties of it. The second beauty of investing in a business is that you get to vote on some of their decisions. For example, Tesla recently was voting whether to pay Elon Musk the agreed sum of his compensation. Imagine voting from wherever you are in the world just because you invested. Is it $20 or something ridiculous like that? So that's one of the beauties of it, and I think you should look into that. So that's investing in stocks. Let's talk about investing in real estate. Some people tell us that real estate is the mother of all investments, and I agree to a point, because real estate has its own different subsectors. For example, you could be somebody that invests in multiple units of property. That is a building that can take 100 families, or 5 families, 10 families. So that's multi-unit. Some people just invest in landed property, right? They buy acres of land and they let it appreciate and then they sell it. Some people invest in real estate through building to sell. And these kind of people tell you that building to sell is better than building to rent, because when you rent out, they'd say, let's assume you built a house for maybe 20 million. How much rent are you going to charge before you're able to make your rent back? So, and then what's the we talked about inflation in episode 2. What's the purchasing power of that 20 million by the time you eventually get it? So they say build everything, sell it, make your money, build another one. So many enterprises, business companies in Nigeria are into building estates now. So that's something. And another way to invest in real estate could actually be to invest in stocks of companies that are into real estate business. That's another way you could go about it, right? And then there's so much ways to go about it in investing in real estate. But one thing is sure, the more you know about these investment vehicles, the better. And investing, beg your pardon, in real estate has the slight advantage over stocks in that it's a less volatile, and maybe the risk is a bit more manageable for some people. And so you have to check which of these investment vehicles really works for you. Let's talk about number 3. That's investment in I call it intellectual property. Intellectual property is saying somebody has a piece of a knowledge, a piece of an insight that is worth generating money. So this person could have a breakthrough technology, proprietary knowledge, and because of that, they're about to spin off a company. So putting money on that can give you a part of what that intellectual property is going to do. That's one thing, which is intellectual property that is going on to yield into a business, right? Another way to invest in intellectual property could be to purchase the rights either to a book or to some piece of music. You hear about Sony buying all the discography of was it Michael Jackson or one of these other musicians, because that's intellectual property. Somebody has done creative work or scientific work, depending on what it is. It could be patents, right? Patent rights, and then you buy it, and then you own that ability, that no, not ability, what that knowledge can do or what that intellectual property can do. And this would have legal implications, whether it's an exclusive right. I know in these days of artificial intelligence, there's a bit of an argument that if I used AI to generate this music, do I own the right or not? And then there's so much in the EU right now about whether companies that are into AI, maybe OpenAI, Claude, and Anthropic, and all these companies, whether they are able to own exclusive rights over content that they generate from newspaper websites. There's so much going on around that side, and that's something you may also want to look at. And then let's talk about investing in what's it called? I'm looking for the best way to put this. Let's say investing in artworks. Somebody says, why do you have so many paintings in your house? You should really ask them, because for example, if you have a artwork by Pablo Picasso, or which other painters do we have? There are quite a number of them, surrealism and things like that. You have something that can appreciate in value, right? Number one thing in investing in paintings is to understand whether the painting is authentic. There are also painters in Nigeria, depending on how you want to go about it. You want to be sure that, number one, the painting is authentic. There's some painters that have a kind of a authentication. They create a serial number for the painting they're issuing out. I know there's some very wonderful painters that have come out of Nigeria. There's Kehinde Wiley, who is a Nigerian American. In the US, he has painted portraits of some great politicians, and there are also Nigerian artists as well. Now, somebody says, where can I get 1 million to invest in artwork by Pablo Picasso and these other guys? Well, I know there are some platforms that are trying to create fractional investing into artworks. If that's something that tickles your fancy, you could go about it. However, there are some contemporary artists that are cracking the code of art business. So let's assume you have a piece of a painting, and you also discover that maybe Dangote bought the painting of that person for 3 million naira. That painting that you bought for 100,000 naira, because the other painting has appreciated in value, yours will also appreciate. So there are people that this is their own kettle of fish, and they love things like that. You should be an art lover, makes you sophisticated. So it may not be for somebody just beginning to invest. All right, and let's talk about two other investment. There are several, right? Let's talk about investing in I'm looking for the one that would strike it well. Let's talk about investing in your business. When you check things that have to do with comparison, some of the best returns you could ever get will be from investing in your own business. Never forget that. So this is a clarion call to everyone that's listening to me in this episode 3 on InvestBay TV with Kenny, to begin to think about what business you're going to start. Very, very important. If you take the remaining part of 2024 to think through, do your paperwork, do your prayer work, do what you need to do to check what business am I starting, and then you go to do a due diligence and getting the knowledge required, because for every business there's a key that you need to have in order to excel at it. Is that okay? And when you've done that, you want to be sure that you are doing that work, because investing in your business is going to bring some of the best returns. And finally, believe it or not, investing in yourself can actually bring some of the greatest returns. And investing in yourself will, first of all, your emotional intelligence. There's some people, they're very brilliant, very cerebral, but the problem with them is that they have a problem connecting with people. And this is the soft skill that will determine whether your business will be patronized or not. Very, very important. So you want to check how are you doing with people. They tell us the mark of a great man is how he treats lesser men. So you want to check how do you deal with people that cannot reward you with anything. Do you respect them? Do you regard them? Do you pay attention to them? These are things that when you begin to do, your value increases as a person. There's this quote by Einstein that says, men of value leave people better than they meet them. And that's very important. You want to be that person that contributes, that does your due diligence to help people in their journey legitimately. Is that okay? So that's investing in your emotional quotient. Let's talk about intellectual quotient. Did you go to school? After you gone to school, did you add certification to that? And there are some people, they have all the certifications, but they lack the real world application. So it's like somebody that has a 7th class lower degree in mechanical engineering and is floating about. That person may need to go and work with a roadside mechanic, somebody that has hands-on knowledge to, get practical knowledge for his own intellectual knowledge. And that does a very good thing by, making that person to be able to balance intellectual, college degree, university degree with what the world needs. And these are a very, very important things. So you want to prioritize investing in yourself, investing in your own business, and then you can go on other types of investing. I hope this helps. Leave a comment, leave a like. Don't forget, is there something you want us to talk about these first 31 days before we go on to weekly posts? And then I'll do well to talk about it. Enjoy yourself and have a good one. See you in the next episode.